They're going to have home court advantage. Will they be number one? I think so. I think at the end of the day, when you get to the end of the season, this team they're healthy, they're moving in the right direction, they're all locked in. I think they're going to be just fine.
Well, any team that is coached by Eric Spoelstra always has a shot, and those Miami Heat, what do you say, the Goons from Dade County?
Goons from Dade County.
They are playing tough this season. All right, we're going on to the Wizards, who beat the Nets without any of their stars in a home game. They entered the fourth quarter tied, but then Washington outscored Brooklyn by 14 in the final frame. So, Chene, better win for the Wizards or worse loss for Brooklyn?
Let's shout out, the Wizards for getting a win, but I know none of the new big three of Brooklyn played, but you know what? I don't think we have many opportunities to put a highlight on. Rui Hachimura had a big game. The bench led the way. You like Rui? 65 points from the bench, most in a game this season.
And here he goes.
Yeah.
From three.
Oh, yeah. Right. Bradley loves it.
Yep. Let's get it over to the Clippers because Pat Bev, he cheered on his former team who blew out the Rockets by 31. But look at this. The highlight of the night came from Reggie Jackson. He just crossed over two defenders at the same time. Have you ever seen that before?
I don't think so. That was bowling.
Y'all know what they call him in the locker room, huh? Reggie Hot Sauce Jackson. Don't get me why they call him Hot Sauce, but it was a lot of sauce on it.
I hate to be that guy, but he missed the shot.
Wow, of course
he missed the shot. I'm sorry.
But they still got
this
the
isn't
bucket
a participation league, y'all.
They got the bucket, though.
You know what it is?
They got the win. All right, lastly, the Mavs, they beat the Pelicans behind Luka Doncic's 49 points and 15 rebounds. It was Luka's third 45-point game this month alone, while the rest of the league only has 2 such games. So even his coach was in awe.
And Luka set the tone early and often. We can sit here and talk about him all day. I mean, the things that he does on the court for himself, for his teammates, is incredible.
Sometimes, it's different when you play in away games. First they're booing and then they're like amazed.
I think we've used every noun, adjective to describe his game. And he just gets better when the stage is big, and he delivered again. It must be the gumbo.
It must be the gumbo. All right. Luka is leading the league in scoring this month with over 36 points per game. He's also averaging over 10 rebounds and 9 assists in that span. So his good play is leading the Mavs to wins. They're 6-2 in the month of February. All right, so it's safe to say that Luka's in the zone right now. But my question to the panel, starting with you, Richard, is that trade of Kristaps Porzingis, did that unlock Luka's full potential? And if so, why?
No, I don't think it unlocked him. Kristaps wasn't even playing. I don't think that had an impact. He was in and out of the lineup, but that's not a knock. Like when a guy gets injured, your team is forced to adjust around. But he had plenty of games without him on that roster. I think Luka, in my opinion, is finally in the type of shape that he needs to be in. Coming off the Olympics, everybody was saying all the conversation. He admitted that, and look, as young players, as a 22-year-old, it might take time to understand your body and how you need to train. Right now, even the game that we did a couple of weeks ago, he had 2 dunks. He's going at people, and now he's in February, and he's starting to lock it and look like the Luka that we expect.
That was the game where the rim broke, right?
Yes.
Luka did that as well.
Oh, yeah. And he shouted out my TikTok. So me and Luka are good.
Let's not talk about your TikTok.
I am locked in.
But I do think that, the trade actually was interesting because he, since that point, the 4 games since then, has had the highest usage in the NBA because they know he's the number one option. And so I look at this, his play. I mean, what was it? 41, 51, 45, 21, 49. Look, it's the same thing. It's the same argument with Joel Embiid. When you're the number one option, your whole team can adjust around you. I think people know that in Philly. People know that in Dallas. So, yeah, this is the Luka that we have all been waiting for. And we know, as older players, it takes you a couple games to play into your shape. It just took Luka a little bit longer.
Right.
But Doug, go ahead, Woj.
This team has moved into 5th in the West because of what they've done defensively over the last month plus. Luka got in shape, and now he's not a great defender, but he does know their schemes. Like, that's progress there, and he can get deflections, his hands. But what they've done defensively, especially, you talk to people in Dallas and teams who are playing against them, is, they don't let teams isolate their worst defenders. Their team defense has been really good, and that's what's elevated this team. And listen, I think Luka Doncic, since the day he's got there, everybody knows he's the guy there. And this is a team that I think Zach Lowe in the preseason kept talking about. This is the team that maybe could make a run in the West. And I wasn't so sure that, but you look at the way they have defended. It's a little bit like in Chicago when they made all those deals and you go, we know we'll be able to score the ball.
Yep.
We're not so sure how we'll be defensively. Chicago's been elite, and Dallas is becoming elite defensively.
Well, real quick, me and Sinead just looked at the standings. Dallas and Philly have the exact same record. They have the same amount of wins. So before we start crowning Joel Embiid MVP because he's been putting up these historic numbers, we've just seen what Luka is doing. 40 and 15, done it twice this month. Like, he is playing at another level. If he continues playing like this, before we start saying, oh, Philly's number one, look, they got the same record. So if they're both dominating the same way, I think maybe this race can get a little bit closer than people think.
Nobody even arguing that. But here's the thing, bro. You so far off your game today for the simple fact that the world knew that Porzingis and Luka didn't get along.
I knew that.
Okay. So you knew that.
Okay.
You knew that. You and J. Kidd are tight. Everybody know that, right? And so for you to come up here and say that didn't have an effect on the way that he's playing right now, dropping 49 last night. You know what?
He was historically out of shape to start the season, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, finish your BS.
Homie. Can I finish? First thing first is that he's playing with such joy. It's a different type of joy now that he's removed from the locker room. I could take you to another example. When you look at the Celtics, they removed Dennis Schroeder. It's a certain type of joy that Daniel Tice brought to the locker room. You've been on multiple teams. You know how I feel when they have a guy.
Did they remove you from this locker room?
For what? For what? I mean,
so his conditioning has nothing to do.
I didn't say it.
But I'm saying address the part that I'm saying.
Okay, that's cool. But for you to act like that,
I think it's both. I think it's both, right? He knows that this is his squad. He doesn't have to deal with whatever the issues might have been, and then also he improved, with his conditioning.
I'm
gonna let Richard sit over here.
If it was gumbo,
I'm gonna let Richard sit over here, combing his eyebrows with his fingers and think about this, because still ahead on NBA Today. What a season we've had so far. We've had ridiculous buzzer beaters. We've had poster dunks. We've had absurd passes. Top plays of this season so far when we return on NBA Today live from Cleveland.
Make sure it's broke when I'm gone, no one gets on, 'cause I won't let nobody press up and